everyone, and welcome to a somewhat sad and disturbing episode of BioLogic Science News. Today, I want to talk about 9/11 and the downstream health effects that this event had and will have on pretty much everyone who was near the Twin Towers when they collapsed. The study for today's episode was published in the journal Environment International. The study authors wanted to look at the long-term health consequences for children exposed to the cloud of dust and ash and particulates that blanketed Manhattan when the Twin Towers collapsed into their footprint. This cloud was thick with numerous chemicals and contaminants, everything from metal powder to ground-up insulation. A class of chemicals within the debris cloud are called perfluoroalkyl substances, and the researchers identified these as a potential cause or correlating factor with cardiometabolic diseases like heart disease and congestive heart failure. When the towers fell, pretty much everyone in Manhattan near the area was exposed to these contaminants, including thousands of children living in the area or attending school nearby. The researchers wanted to see if this exposure induced any negative effects, or if it raised any red flags in the health of the children, who are now, 16 years later, young adults. One of the perfluoroalkyl chemicals is perfluorooctanoic acid, or PFOA, which the researchers found was tightly correlated with higher triglycerides and cholesterol. Another chemical called perfluorohexane sulfonic acid was associated with lowered insulin resistance, and both chemicals were linked with physiological problems with the arteries in the lungs. The researchers argue that these abnormal lipid levels are the early warning signs of heart diseases and atherosclerosis. They caution that we will begin to see a sharp spike in the rates of heart disease, bumping far beyond the normal rate, and that this will be due specifically to the toxic exposure that so many people had to these perfluoroalkyl substances. Based on the dataset, it's also pretty fair to say that these won't be the only diseases we'll see increases in. The dust and debris of 9/11 was incredibly dangerous, killing hundreds of first responders within days, weeks, months, and even years of their exposure. This study shows that the tragedy hasn't even ended, that even those who were far too young on that day to understand any of the geopolitical ramifications will suffer a host of negative health consequences because of it. Around the mid to late 2030s and early 2040s, I expect to see the full fallout from 9/11 and the degraded health of those who were exposed to the dust clouds. I expect to see a surge in New York's rates of lung diseases, heart diseases, blood diseases, and all types of cancers, all because of the clouds of dust that blanketed the city on 9/11.